Okay, here we go. With the first pick in the 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
It's official. The Cincinnati Bengals found their guy, and so did the Chargers and the Dolphins and the Packers. What is going on here? Welcome to Good Morning Football. We're presented by Ram Trucks. Oh yeah, Roger Goodell, our commissioner, was also TikToking last night. And Blake Shelton hates Nate Burleson. We'll dig into all of this for the next 3 hours right here on ESPN2 and our home on NFL Network, where you can see these beautiful faces: Burleson, Kyle Brandt, and Peter Schrager. My name's Kay Adams. Our show is on from Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on what we call the Niffle, endearingly. Kyle, what is in store today? It's a crazy show, and we're just going to take it as it comes.
Everything is in store today. This one is wild, my friends. So, Joe Burrow goes number one, and we saw him with his family in that supple leather sectional. The Bengals have their guy, and then Tua is going to Miami. It happened. We're going to get into it momentarily. Mike Giardi will take us into the Miami war room to see how this went down. And how about this? The Packers drafted a quarterback in the first round, and yet they have that guy, Jordan Love. Is he the next Jay Fiedler? Is he the next Aaron Rodgers? That was a mind blower. We'll get into that. And how about the setups, my friends? We've been waiting for weeks. Jerry Jones had set sail with his family. He looked great. The living rooms, the war rooms, the Kingsbury room. We want to be there so badly. Nate has takes on CeeDee Lamb and his setup and his family. We're going to get into all of it. This is the best show of the year. Good Morning Football on a Friday.
It really is. I mean, that yacht puts the Roys from Succession to shame. Absolutely unbelievable. And they've got a new shiny toy for Dak Prescott. Let's do it, guys. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block. Lead block.
Let's see the top 10 picks here. Yes, it went as planned for a lot of the first part of the draft. Joe Burrow goes to Cincinnati. Chase Young goes to Washington, face of the defense and the franchise there. Okudah, the cornerback, takes Darius Slay's place in Detroit. They do not trade down or take a quarterback. And then things get a little weird, Schrags, at 5. Let's take a look here and take me through what your thoughts were when the Dolphins took Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a Miami Dolphin, and yesterday I came on this air and I said I believe he's going to slip and fall out of the top 10. Guess what? I was wrong. It happens, and I'm happy I'm wrong. Here's where that misinformation sort of comes from. All season long, I was told from everybody in Miami and everybody who's been anywhere around Miami that organization resented the tank for Tua talk all year long. And if you watch the Dolphins as they beat the Eagles late in the season, as they ruined the Patriots' home field playoff chances throughout the playoffs in Week 17, that team was fighting and competing. What got misconstrued was a resentment towards tank for Tua and a resentment for Tua. It wasn't about Tua. They actually liked Tua, but they weren't going to say back then and when they traded off Tunzel and Fitzpatrick that it was for a certain player, because it wasn't. This team competed, and then in the last 6 months, they did their work. Okay, Chris Greer and Stephen Ross, the GM and the owner, they both attended the LSU-Alabama game and asked everyone who they could speak with about Tua. Then Alabama goes to a bowl game against Michigan. Tua's not even playing. Greer, Stephen Ross, and the president, Tom Carfinkel, they all go to that bowl game to make sure that they can do all their due diligence. And by the time they got to Combine, they felt comfortable with the medical, and that was huge. Tua's a great kid, a great leader. I've never been more happy that I was wrong. Tua is going to the place he should have gone all along, and I know the Dolphins brass is ecstatic about it. And I'll tell you this, I said yesterday on air, I don't think it's the Dolphins. I'm not sure it's the Chargers, and I don't have a third team. Guess what? All they needed was one. He's a Miami Dolphin, and he might be the best quarterback they've had since Dan Marino.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Schrags. I've always thought that Tua would be the second quarterback taken off the board. Yesterday, I talked about invisible influences that could sway GMs, coaches to make the wrong decision. And what I love about this pick for the Dolphins is they didn't let these invisible influences, they didn't let the chatter from other teams saying that they didn't like Tua or teams playing possum because they wanted to draft Tua. You know what else they didn't let? The history of the Dolphins. You know, you think about it, man, dating back to when they were going to sign Drew Brees. You remember Drew Brees had the injury history, and they decided not to go that route, and they probably had regret because of that. They ended up signing Dante Culpepper, who had injury history, and that didn't work out. So the history of the Dolphins could have played a role in their decision, and that didn't play a role. What I love about the Dolphins making this selection, they said, forget about it. Schrags, you are exactly right. Forget about the history of our own franchise. Forget about the history of Tua's injuries. Forget about what everybody else is saying. We are going to get the quarterback of the future, and they nailed it.
Miami has gone from hosting a Super Bowl to trying to win one. Guys, I am so excited for the Dolphins. I am proud of the Dolphins. Frankly, I'm turned on by the Dolphins this morning, guys. That was hot. That was a sexy move. It was a scary move. It was a bold move. And the way they just sat there, they didn't trade up. This is our guy. We're going to sit here. Our pulse is not going to bounce. We are not going to blink, and we are going to take our guy. It's like the coolest thing they have done in 25 years. This is a team history. We can talk about it. They've had bad quarterbacks, bad coaches, Monday Night Miracle, blah, blah, blah. They hang their hat on every once in a while they beat the Patriots in a game that really doesn't matter. They did the bold move. They played Oregon Trail, and they decide to ford the bleeping river, and I am so impressed. Better to take a swing and end up 4-12 than play it safe and end up 8-8. This is the best day for Dolphins since Flipper hit DVD. Hell yes.
Wow. Flipper hitting DVD, hell yes, says Kyle Brandt. Yes, kudos to them and to the AFC East. Jim Nance was part of the draft-a-thon when I was in there for a second. He stopped everybody and said, I mean, Offset was in there, Deion Sanders, and he said, can we talk about how good the AFC is, the West? But let's look at the East. The Patriots, very shaky. We don't know what's going on. They end up trading down, of course. And then you have the AFC East, the contenders. Everybody's talking about Buffalo, the Jets, of course, drafting some help to protect Sam Darnold. But don't sleep on the Dolphins. They get Brian Flores, and they are making these bold decisions. I love it. Okay, let's talk about the #1 pick and not look it over, right? It was kind of set it and forget it, Bronco Grill style, but the Bengals take Burrow. So Kyle and Nate, can he make an impact right away?
I think he can. I really think he can. Part of it's him and part of it's the team. I don't look at this Bengals team picking #1 like some do, a team completely bereft of talent who just won one game and is a long-term project. I don't see Joe Burrow going 1-15 like Aikman or 3-13 like Peyton. You could do a lot worse, guys, than coming in as a rookie and having Green and Boyd and Ross. I absolutely think they've got something here, and I just look no further than his own division. Look a couple of years ago at the Cleveland Browns, where their head coach had just jumped in a river on local news because they were 1-31. They draft the #1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner, and he's giving beer to the people. They're tattooing his two-point conversions. If Baker can do it in Cleveland, hell yes, Joe Burrow can do it in Cincinnati. And that's my second hell yes of the 7A.
Whoa, Kyle, you're coming in hot this morning. Listen, Kyle, you said it perfectly, man. It is about the division. I mean, the Browns, they're trying to retool and figure things out. Big Ben is back. Let's not forget what's going to happen with the Steelers. Lamar Jackson is trying to take over the league. But even with that said, he's going to have struggles within a division. But individually, I don't think he's going to struggle. This guy has pros around him. I mean, that's what we kept saying about his time at LSU is, you know what? He's been throwing to pros in a pro system. Well, Zach Taylor, he's going to do the same thing, provide the same type of system. And now you can look at the receivers that he has. A.J. Green spent the whole year on the sideline. He's going to be healthy and ready to go. John Ross, please, John Ross, if you can stay healthy with that speed, it's going to remind Joe Burrow the type of talent that he had when he was playing in college. And the running back game is there. So for me, he will have individual success. The question is, how are they going to compete within the division? Time will tell.
I knew at the Combine they were taking Joe Burrow #1. The question was all along, is Burrow going to be happy to be there? Yeah, Burrow is. And Burrow and Zach Taylor have had a chance to get to know each other quite a bit. And apparently they have hit it off. And Burrow's excited to be a Bengal and is excited to go back to the Buckeye State. What I would say about Cincinnati is this. How do you show that you're for real? multiple teams called Cincinnati and said, hey, we want it. And right away, the Bengals said, nope, we're not open for business.
Wow.
We're not off. We don't want to hear anything. We've got our guy. He's 25 years old. Okay. So he's older than Lamar Jackson. He's older than Josh Rosen. He's older than several of the young starting quarterbacks we've already given ticker tape parades for. And he comes in here with a history of not only being a beloved Ohio State Buckeye, but now an Ohio State legend who joined the LSU legendary world, where it took this team to a national title and did so in